as a fractured wrist. I feel it for the first time now, deeper than the seas abyss, harder than the heart forgives.
Well, hello, Jack. How are you?
I will. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And I'm so excited the audience got a little sneak peek of your amazing talent. And I'm curious, first and foremost, Jack, where were you born and when did you realize that you had the arts within you and music within you and you just had to get it out?
Sure. So I was not actually born in Baltimore. I was born a couple miles away in Towson, Maryland, small little town filled to the brim with Catholic schools. And I went to one for like 9 years, and I kind of quickly figured out that like I wasn't really like the athlete kid. Like I was not the coordinated type. I played basketball, but mostly they like pity passed me the ball and I would like still miss. And then I started doing, I started doing theater and singing in like the school play and stuff like that. And I also started picking up bass because my dad would tell me all about like he's like a huge music buff, so he kind of on the way to school would teach me all kinds of music from like 1950 to like 1990, so like the Isley Brothers to start ending with Nirvana. So I pretty much quickly picked up the like arts bug, and then rather going to like Catholic arts high school and getting my ass kicked, I figured I might as well audition for, for the Catholic school and get my ass kicked. I would rather go to an arts high school and not get my ass kicked and like pursue what I love to do. So that's kind of how I got out of that whole circuit, and then it just kind of went from there.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, obviously you have the support of your parents and, that's, I mean, and, unfortunately that is somewhat rare for an artist, but I want to know for you, Jack, was there a time in your, you're still so young, but, before now, was there an aha moment where you realized, wow, I can do this for a living?
Let me think. I think it was, I don't know if it was ever like, I think it was probably the first Lord Baltimore song that I ever made. I just had the image in my mind of filling concert venues with the song The Curtain. I was like, I finally wrote something that I feel like is big enough and grand enough to be able to be seen and heard by a bunch of people. And I don't know if it was confidence, but just rather like a decision that I made. I wasn't like, and now I can be an artist. It was just like, no, I'm going to just choose to, I'd always chosen to be an artist, but at that moment I was like, I choose to pursue this exact thing. I want to realize that vision upon the world.
Jack, I think it's incredible because obviously you made the choice to step into your power, to realize that you have the capability and ability to create art and songs and music that fill big spaces. And I think it's a choice that for many artists, taking that leap, sometimes is a little scary. Did you have any fear in taking that leap, or was it just like, no, this is when I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it now or never?
I think the fear is just part of it. I mean, I think that fear is kind of a compass, really. Like I find that usually whatever, and it's not just in art, but just in life, generally the thing that you are afraid of is kind of the thing that you should run towards. So I always think that whenever I'm afraid of something, it usually means I'm going in the right direction. And I usually use that sense of like, to know when I'm heading to somewhere that I actually should be.
It's a really cool compass to have. I mean, I agree with you 5,000%. I usually, as a director now, as a performer for 25 years professionally, but as a director, I always tell artists that, that if you stop having that little bit of nerves or fear, you should start investigating maybe doing something else, because it's really that fear that I think is a compass in many ways toward bliss,
Mhm.
toward what you're meant to be doing, whether you want to consider it that's the voice of the inner child within you, or spirit, or being a vessel to a greater being. I want to know, for you, Jack, during these past 18 months, obviously it's been tough for all humans, artists especially, what you were able to do during these past 18 months to keep your creativity juices flowing.
I wrote every day. Um, and it was actually kind of nice because I was able to establish sort of an artistic routine instead of having to like, get up and worry about a lot of different things. Just pretty much like, all right, I'm gonna like wake up and like put on a cup of coffee and start writing. And that was really nice. And I ended up making 3 EPs. I made one with a band that I had found of other musicians that I found them all over the internet over quarantine. And then I made a Lord Baltimore EP with a producer out in LA. We just like did it remotely. And then I self-produced one. And I did a lot of practice, kind of practiced recording and arranging for myself, and like mix all that like mixing stuff that like I don't quite know about, but I'm learning.
Yeah, but I also love the fact that you just went after the things that you may not learn. I've been speaking with artists who probably had no interest ever in the production side, but with the time on their hands, it's like many of them learned the craft instead of now paying, an hourly absurd rate to someone else. Do it yourself in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too.
Okay, Jack. Well, before I ask my final question, I want to let everyone know. For more on Jack, you can read more about them right below this video. Jack, I want to know what you're most optimistic about in terms of you as an artist, as things start to open up, what you're most looking forward to.
Live performance, 100%. I am just so excited about like getting my band together and like just getting a really good, really tight live show. Because I think a lot of times, like for most of the pandemic, because live wasn't an option, I was kind of stuck. Like a lot of artists were, I'm sure, like online, social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever the hell, um, like marketing and making yourself like producing that way, making content that way, when really I think that the most important, like the bread and butter thing for what an artist do and what we love to do, what's the most fun and rewarding thing to do is play live. And I think that like it's so important to make a live show, a good live show, because that's really what you're getting paid for, and that's what people are going to love to see. And you could have like all your socials all perfectly, but if you can't deliver live, it's going to be kind of a problem in the long run. So that's what I'm most focused on, most excited about, most optimistic about, is like getting my band in gear, getting a live show going, and just playing live and meeting people and doing things in the real world as much as I can.
Amen. Listen, if there was any common thread with any of the artists that I've been so privileged to interview all across the world these past 6 months, over 400 now, it's been that need of connection, that need of that other player, that conversation between the live audience that is something you can't recreate and is only special and sacred in that moment. So Jack, I'm so grateful for your time today, and I'm so grateful that we are now connected, and I can't wait to witness you live as well, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I hope so too.